Despite many interactions with the more crackheady, the more drunk, the more deranged, the more agitated, countless trips into various urban areas, the more I interact with the slow suiciders who just want to not only destroy themselves but make it very public, the more I realize that deep at my core, instead of thinking that I am some vigilante, some sort of superhero, deep, deep, deep down, I realized that I'm simply not there. Well, it's the Heaton Park Telecommunications Tower. Can you feel the microwave power? No, of course you can't. And people that say they can are deluded. You do not feel nausea from non-ionizing radiation. Apiary, it's where we keep primates, apes, to make honey. Look at that, there's a gorilla, orangutan, and a bonobo. Hard at work. Whack the bonobo. Just smack my bonobo, guys. Yep, I have decided to quit YouTube, and I'm going to dedicate my life to farming bees and honey. I'm going to get into the honey trade. It looks easy. Bees do all the work. Oh, England on a nice warm spring day. Heaton Park Stables is what the viewer is looking at. So why are we in Heaton Park? We are in Heaton Park to provide the darling viewer, the discerning, amazing, good taste viewer with contrast from Babylon. This lion looks like he's touched by a bit of the tism. Heaton Park Stables. Happy, shiny families, lots of babies. Feels very normal. Does that feel good? Yeah? Is that good?
This flunky at me.
Pig is not interested in anything except getting his snout in the mud. Snout. Oh, look at that. He wants his belly rubbed. Oh, that's what he wants. There you go. There you go. That feels good, doesn't it?
Oh no.
Oh, that one's jealous. What do you think, Piggo? Does that feel good?
He's so like thick and you could take a few bullets for sure. That's my type.
Go on, he's a slam pig, this one. What about you? He's Vietnamese potbelly. Come on. Come on, I'll rub your belly too. Come on. Look at that, that's good. Oh yeah, he's got the mange, just like me. Oh, these two males are going to fight in a second. Look, they're coming for the female. David Attenborough's on the scene. Go on, boys. Here they come. Wow, look at the iridescence on this bad boy's feathers. Look at that. Goat boy, how are you? Have a sniff. Peacocking. I've even got a standing up goat in the shot. Look at that. So, a very large tree has fallen down, but he gets knocked down. He won't get up again, but he is still alive. Look how he's sprouting in the spring. He or she. Do trees have genders? Of course they do. It is very alive. All this growth is from the downed tree. Not Downsy tree. He's downed. did not expect there to be a tramway crossing in the middle of Heaton Park. Hey look, it's Ryan Gosling. Literally me. Crumpsall Lane Primary School. Very nice. Loads of cops. Is that Ludovico Einaudi? Yeah, very nice. It's Ludovico. All right, I better go and investigate. And it's just a large collection of Irish traveller children. And for some reason, I'm sure the police are here for zero reason at all because they're all so incredibly well behaved. Look at this. It's a gathering. It's the gathering.
I'm just saying, it's not gypsy.
What's the purpose?
Youths causing issues, just running into Arndale Centre causing...
Youths.
Yeah.
I understand. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Metrolink staff are going to try and get those edgy teenagers off the tram line. Hey everyone, Charlie Veitch here on the Charlie Veitch channel. It is Sunday. It's street party day after the King Charles coronation, where they gave him the corona. So I was in Manchester today briefly. I was doing more of the outskirts, having a look at some more countryside-y bits around the city, and I came across a big line of Greater Manchester Police. Not the PCSOs, not the piglets, but the true coppers. And outside there was about 100 to 200 traveller gypsy teenagers and a wall of steel to not let them into the Arndale shopping centre. And it's like, wow, I've seen this before when the traveller community, their teenagers come into the city in very large numbers. All the shops and police get very stressed. Why? Because they rampage and steal and cause trouble and fight and attack each other and attack normal civilians walking past. And it got me thinking, you know, like, we're all equal singing Kumbaya around the fireplace. We're all beautiful, equal children of God. We're all perfectly adequate as we are. But then there are offshoots. There's groups, whether they're religious or community-based, or whether they're cults, a lot of new ones, a lot of big ideologies. What am I doing with my eyebrows? I'm like, eh. But imagine you have an insular, looking inward, our thing, which in Italian is Cosa Nostra. Cosa Nostra, our thing. And you view the general public as a bunch of cash cows to be harvested, as a bunch of sheep to be sheared, to take their wool. You know, like, there's so many businesses that will not accept, you know, restaurants, hotels, ferry companies. They will not accept large bookings from the traveller community, the gypsy community, because empirical data from the field shows that more often than not, there's massive fights. Your hotel gets trashed, your restaurant gets trashed. And then fitting the stereotype. And again, a lot of things I'm saying in this video are probably a hate crime, are probably illegal under the Equality Act of 2010. Speaking freely in your own living room can land you in legal trouble, which is one thing I get so jealous of the Americans and their free speech. You see some of the rallies where people are facing off against each other, you see some of the things that the Americans say to the police directly to them, and you're like, whoa! If I tried to pull that free speechy stuff here in England, I'd be in the back of a police van within 5 seconds. But again, in my opinion, the gypsy travelers are white. They're European whites, white people. But a few years ago, they had some DNA test which showed that a lot of them share a lot of the same DNA. But that's just what you get in an insular, inward-looking, small community that consider outsiders a bunch of scumbags and idiots. So when the traveler community, their teenagers, come to the city, and I filmed many of them shoplifting, and what do? I delete the footage. Why? Because I'm a fucking pussy. Because I respond to threats like anyone else. You go, right, what battles are worth fighting? And when the Irish traveller community menaces you and says, delete the fucking footage or we'll fucking 10 uncles, 5 cousins, 10 brothers-in-law are going to fucking come and burn your fucking house down. Or kneecap you, to continue a slightly Irish stereotype. But I wasn't even going to rant about gypsies. I wanted to just talk about how... Well, let's just get this subject. Let's just get this chapter closed. Any group, again, whether it's religious, ethnic-based, philosophy-based, it's a cult, or just... one sec, I've got to put things on silent. I'm getting... Anyway, I don't know where my other phone is. It's somewhere else. It's pinging away in the background. You separate yourself from humanity, and then atrocities are no problem. You dehumanize the masses, and we're all guilty in a way, but it just saddens me. You know, why can't a group of teenagers come to the city without causing so much chaos? And they make your standard teenage English chav seem saintly. And that's saying something. Part two. Nobody knows anything. Anything. When Socrates said, the only thing I know is that I know nothing, didn't he even know that? He didn't even know that. And the older I get, the more I realize that it's harder to consume philosophy. It's harder to consume a lot of these spiritual YouTube videos. It's harder to read books about the nature of the universe, about the theory of everything, because we're all shaking the bush in the jungle and getting excited by the rustling sounds. That's all we're doing. There's the primordial truth. There's the base level of reality. That is based. It's based. Base level reality. Everything else is just we primates grabbing the bush in the jungle. And they go, yeah, that's my theory of everything. That is how the Big Bang created everything you see around you. Heisenberg. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Epstein. I mean, Einstein. Einstein? So, next time, and this is like part of the way I deal with haters in the comment section. In the street, I get some people, hey, you Charlie? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, you're a fucking twat. And I'm like, okay. Nobody knows anything. They're just pavement apes, pavement apettes, going about their day. So next time someone has a massive go at you, remember, there's some reason why they're having a go at you, and it's probably not what you're doing. What you're doing is probably not even that bad. For me, walking around with a camera, giving a bit of narration, you should see the death stares I get off certain people. How dare he? Shut him up. Shut that fucker up. Who does he think he is? And a lot of what I would describe as overweight slug people. The fatties staring at me. I'm not Mr. Six-pack perfect body myself, but I do enough of the old cardiovasc to try and stay a little bit in shape. But the slug people, be careful with what they think. They truly know nothing. They are bags of misery and horror and gristle there to ruin your day. Just fatties. Blocking hallways, getting tired and wheezing on staircases, needing to rest. The rotund amongst us are terrifying. Part 3 now. The news. Did any of you guys see the black lady on GMTV, Good Morning Television, on the sofa? And she was like, I mean, firstly, I don't know if it was like some sort of glitch, but did she have a cone head? Like the aliens, like the Anunnaki, did she have a cone head? And I paraphrase what the black British lady said. The BBL, what she said. She said, love the coronation, Charles looked good, Camilla looked good, but when they got on the balcony at Buckingham Palace, it was too white. Too many white people on the balcony, too white. And the white presenters of GMTV, instead of slamming her down and calling her out instantly for her virtue signaling, politically acceptable racism, which is what it is, singling people out by the color of their skin, by their ethnicity, to say disparaging things. Too many white people, there's too many white people. I've got 3 white children, and I will not have them growing up thinking that they are CEOs of slavery, that they are the most racist Nazis in the world. I want to remind my 3 children and every other white person watching this that white people are amazing, created the modern world. There's like a Bermuda Triangle between Scotland down to northern Spain through to Switzerland, where in that Bermuda Triangle of whitey, of the crackers, pretty much every decent modern invention was created. And only the Jews, das Juden, can rival the whites in terms of Nobel Prizes that we've won for bringing amazing inventions. And let's not forget, in the era of Charles, a man called Charles is going to tell you, it was the Royal Navy off the west coast of Africa that enforced the banning of the international slave trade. It was good old white people that said not allowed to the slave trade, whilst the Chinese and the Arabs were still, and also the Africans themselves. I mean, white people did not invent slavery. Everyone was doing it. We have it nowadays. We call it the minimum wage. Oh no, that's for a different conversation. That's for a different time. But it annoys me how instead of certain communities having a look at maybe certain aspects of culture which may not be the best, but it's just, and it's politically acceptable to blame the white person for all the world's ills. And like, that's all I have to say about that. So, part 4. America and Serbia had two big mass shootings by teenagers. I think they killed about 10 kids each within like 48 hours. And that's strange. But then you switch on the news, you go on to USA News. USA mass shooting news. There's too many to list. And if we have any free speech here on YouTube, there's a very handy rule of thumb that you can just about follow. And it gets, putting aside Chinese or Hispanic shooters, of which there have been a few. Wasn't Virginia Tech? No, was he Korean? Virginia Tech. He was going for the high score, which Anders Breivik still holds. I think Anders Breivik still has the high score, even with the Nice truck of peace, car ramming of peace attack. I think Anders Breivik still holds that. But a good rule of thumb for your mass shooting is that if the number of wounded exceed the number of dead, the shooter is probably black. Now, if the number of dead exceed the number of wounded, then the shooter is probably white. Make of that as you will. This is Charlie Veitch signing out before I get banned for life.